I'm just asking.
Hello, this is Peter Ross with Chelsea Books. Today we're going to be interviewing Warren Allen Smith. He's one of our most popular, most prolific authors, and he's coming out with a new book. What's it called, Smith?
In the Heart of Showbiz.
Can you tell me something about it?
It really is my autobiography. It's the fifth book that I've written here on Jane Street since I moved 20 years ago. And it's the fifth book I've written since I reached the age of 80. It describes how I came from a little Iowa town of 328. I was a Depression baby in the 1930s. It describes how I was drafted, and instead of being in a division or a battalion somewhere, I became the chief clerk for the Adjutant General in the Supreme Headquarters building in Reims, France. My office was just down the hall from General Eisenhower's. I was in the Army 3.5 years. This allowed me to get, with the GI Bill of Rights, 3.5 years of free education. So I then went to the University of Chicago, I went to the University of Northern Iowa, and then to Columbia University. At Columbia University, almost the first week that I was here in the city, I fell in love with a Costa Rican. His name was Fernando Vargas. And the story in the autobiography is how we together founded a recording studio. It was on 46th Street, just off Broadway, and he had had some experience as an audio engineer in the Brill building, and when that company went bankrupt, he and I founded our own independent recording studio. And it's really the story of how we moved from the Brill building to 46th Street, where Fernando, there are many pictures in here, where Fernando and I were able to record big names such as Jerry Bach. By the way, I was the first to hear the music from Fiddler on the Roof, because he was laying down tracks of the music that he was providing for the play, which had not yet been named. But the book then goes into the details of how we got big names such as Robert Whitehead, the producer, Bob Fosse also was producing a play, and Harold Prince, who worked with us maybe for 2 or 3 different. And it tells, for example, how Mary Martin was one of our customers, and we had a terrible fire in 1968, after we had just paid everything up, and we moved then to Times Square, 42nd in Broadway, in the really high rent district, in the what's called the Bush Terminal. And then I describe all the technical details about Ampex machinery and Mellotrons and the engineers that we had, the various customers that we had, which included Tiny Tim, it included Barry Manilow, Mary Martin, Sun Ra. Oh, we worked with Sun Ra for 25 or more years. And it's sort of a complete description of how you set up a business, how you make your charges, what it costs to make, for example, 500 or 1,000 LP records, or pressings we call them. And we made, for example, also the jacket covers, and it's a detailed study of how with a lathe you can make acetate records. So that's the first part of the book.